friends get together so they can try things. You're invited to this podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
Hello and welcome to Now Try This, the podcast where two best friends get together every week to try something new. I'm Marcus, and that's Nick.
Hello, Marcus. I think my camera's off center. There's a black bar on mine.
There is a black bar on your.
Oh my goodness, guys! Welcome to the show. Oh, it feels so good to be back. I could not tell y'all how much I've been waiting and gunning and excited to be here because I missed you guys. I missed talking about shit. I missed hanging out with my best friend. And guys, that's what the show is. It's two best friends shooting the shit, figuring out what the other one loves and trying those things. So every week we challenge each other to try one of our favorite things. And this week isn't that. Because this week is powered and brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/NowTryThisCast, where all our lovely patrons vote every month to decide on a try. So that way we can both experience something new.
Yes, and this month our patrons challenged us to watch The Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery.
And can I just tell you, before we even get to that,
Mm-hmm.
we just released our last couple episodes, and man, are they some bangers. Guys, you really need to go check out The Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War, The Menu, Violent Night. We've been trying to stay hip, and we like it. So the next things probably won't be hip pretty soon.
I was thinking about the podcast recently as sort of like, what is it? And why is it? And
why is the pod? This is the conversation you need to have here right now. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And sometimes I feel like there is this push and pull because for me, it's like, I want to stay true to the intent of the podcast. I'm giving you my favorite things and you're giving me your favorite things. But sometimes there's like, okay, I am so hyped for this movie that it's like, I might give it to you before I have a chance to watch it, because of how hyped I am for it, which I think counts towards that stuff. But some may argue that it doesn't. And it is interesting to see what we choose to do and what we choose to not do. But I think for the most part, most of our challenges, unless they come from the Patreon, have aligned with either excitement levels or love and passion for the thing.
My favorite part about your statement, Marcus, is that your statements clearly are putting me out to pasture because I have been the one to do that. Because
that's not true.
We all remember when I gave House of Dragons thinking it was going to be so fucking awesome because I just spent all summer rewatching Game of Thrones. I was so hyped for the show. We had connected watching the show when we lived together that I was like, full tilt, don't even check, haven't watched it yet. Let's do House of Dragons. And then we get in here and all I do is shit on it for an hour and a half because I hated it so much.
I think that still is in line with things we love. You loved Game of Thrones, right? And House of Dragon was a disappointment, which you are allowed as someone who loved Game of Thrones to do as a challenge, I think.
You should be a spin doctor because that was some good spin. I just listened to a podcast with Chris Harrison, as you know, a former host of The Bachelor who very unceremoniously was fired because of him not being PC enough, not being with the times with certain conversations. And he just released a podcast 2 years after it happened called The Most Dramatic Podcast Ever. And in it he was talking about that.
Oh, okay. Did he shed some positive light on things, or is he still in the dark?
He's only released 2 episodes, and so far it sounds like he's talking about what he was going through, which is fair. It's his podcast. You should totally do that. Hopefully in the coming ones come like a real like dissection on what he did wrong and how he's grown and how he realized. There was one little comment where he was like, I feel like people just misunderstood what I was saying. And I was like, that wasn't all of it, Chris.
No, it was not. That was not all.
But his girlfriend or fiance, who used to do Roses and Rosé, was on the second episode, and she described how disappointed she was in what he did. So there's some ownership in his circle that's happening. But anyway, talking about spin doctors, he hired a crisis team because he's a fucking millionaire.
Of course, that's what you have to do.
And apparently, he was like, "That was the worst decision I could have made." They gave me awful advice. Everything they told me was the wrong thing to do. And basically the thing that they told me to do was to stay silent, not say anything.
That's the
Which
worst thing you
means
can do.
The narrative just goes away from you, right? And he ended up being like, he was describing how surreal it was, how his name was coming out of left-wing media of news and right-wing media. Like Ben Shapiro was talking about him, and he's like, how did I get here? Like, how did I get here? You know? So
I think, Nick, you teach chess, right?
is this a plug for my tutor business? Yes, I teach chess.
You teach chess, right?
I do.
I think I expect you a little bit more to understand the mind games that are happening, right? Because
are we in a murder mystery? What's happening?
No. What do you think the true intention of Chris Harrison was? His name Chris Hansen?
Yeah.
Chris Harrison. Chris Harrison. What do you think? Yeah, sure. My legal team gave me bad advice. Throw them under the bus, right? This is all part of their plan. This is all the spin doctor spinning it all together. Okay, you're playing right into it.
I would agree with you. Normally, I'm a little more conspiratorial, and I would agree with you. Sure, but dude lost his job and now has some shitty pot. He's been doing nothing for 2 years.
He apologizes. I'm calling it right now. Episode 5. He apologizes.
He doesn't apologize till episode 5?
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
That's kind of shitty. Honestly, probably. He's probably gonna talk in 4 about like behind the scenes stuff and his hot take on shit and what went wrong. And then all the comments would be like, dude, you were fucking rude to the first black bachelorette. Yeah. That was the problem. Do something about it. And then he's gonna try to pay a lot of money to get her on the podcast.
Exactly. That's exactly
honestly,
how I
want to listen to that podcast.
That's exactly, and that's episode 5, right? Because he recorded a few in advance, right? He got a couple in the bucket. Yeah,
you always do.
Episodes 1 through 3, we're not going to know anything. It's just past stuff. Episode 4, he gets the backlash and the reaction from the first 3 episodes, addresses that, and then episode 5, he apologizes. Look, you said yourself, I'm the spin doctor, okay? I know these
Marcus,
things.
You just spun that again so fucking well. Holy shit, proving my point. You should be a spin doctor. That was so good. I'm fucking dizzy. Good job.
Okay. Well, Nick, we normally talk about what we did. So
yeah, that is normally what we do.
I remember how the podcast works.
Would you like to do something else?
Sorry,
or would you like
vacation? We took a vacation.
Or are you trying to segue yourself into your segue? Because
here's what I was going to say about the glass onion. Because I just wanted to talk a little bit of the glass onion early. We can talk about ourselves and a little bit of glass onion later. But I have not been looking forward to this review for since it won. I was watching the Patreon challenge, watching that number one thing.
I voted for something else.
One thing go. And I was like, man, I really hope Glass Onion doesn't win, because while I enjoyed the movie, and I'll say it up front, I genuinely don't know what I have to say about it. And I'm interested to see what you have to say, and we can have a conversation. But I felt like it was a movie. It was a movie's movie. You know what I'm saying? It was like a movie you watch, you consume, and then you move on from it. And I will never think about it again afterwards.
I will say, I did just rewatch it. And I felt that hard. And I loved the movie. But I was playing Marvel Snap while I was watching the film the second time.
That's what I'm saying. So we'll get into it a little bit more later. But I just wanted to say that I was kind of dreading it. But I'm happy I'm here.
Well, back to the nonsense. Look at what I bought at Midtown Comics today. Boom, boom, boom. Ooh. Edward Elric from the Full Metal Alchemist. Nice. Yeah, well, I've seen him before, and the older one's harder to get. So, and this is a newer one, so I figured I'd grab it before it's hard to get. But he's standing on a transmutation circle he's making.
That's
so
cool.
I thought that looked really cool. And I wanted to
guys,
share.
Welcome to Funko Corner, or the podcast within the podcast, where we update you on Funko news.
Oh my goodness, we would make a killing on that. That would be so. Oh, you want to see the other Funko that I bought? Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. Wait, guess what it is. Guess what I'm reaching for. So I have a rule. I have a rule for Funkos. I try to not. I have 30 Funko Pops. Most of them were gifts. Okay. Half of them were gifts. Sure. I bought all the Critical Role ones because those are near and dear to my heart. And then I try to buy ones like this one. Like the first one is super expensive to get. And I assume this one will be too. So there's a monetary reason, because I do want it eventually. Yeah. Or it's super sentimental, or it's one that I don't think I'll ever get as a gift. Okay. So this other Funko that I'm going to show you that you're going to guess is a Funko of something that I love, because that's why you buy Funkos, unless you're fucking Joseph Cruz fucking buys all the fucking Funkos in the world. You buy the Funkos that you love, but it's one that I don't think I would ever get as a gift.
Okay.
So what is the Funko I am about to reach for? This is fun.
A Funko that you love, but you would
use
never
your
get as a
Benoit
gift.
Blanc logic here.
I would say that if you were going to get a Funko Pop,
Oh, that was really bad.
it was terrible.
I was expecting it to be
That was
just a
pretty good.
little better.
That's pretty
I know.
good. You're
I've been
terrible.
practicing for the last 2
I mean,
hours
you're
because I assumed it would come
terrible
up.
at impressions.
I'm not bad at impressions. I'm not bad at impressions.
Oh,
I'm bad at accents.
accents. You're bad
I'm
at
bad
accents.
at
I
accents.
take that
I'm good
back.
at
You're bad
mimicking
at
people.
accents. Yes. But you're bad at.
But
You can get
but
mannerisms, but you can't get.
I got
accents.
manners. I ain't got voice.
This is your best one.
Voices.
This is your best
Thank you
one.
s- thank you
Have
so
you really
much.
been practicing for 2 hours?
As I've been, Lexi was very annoyed because as we were rewatching the movie, as he would say stuff, I'd be like, "Oh, this guy's a moron." As the glass onion is a metaphor inside of a metaphor. She was like, "Shut up."
Well, I disagree with Lexi. I think that it sounds pretty damn good.
Okay, what's Funko?
It is a Funko.
And make it entertaining because this is a
of-
podcast.
Okay, yeah, no, of course. Like Nick, I know you, right? We are
Yeah.
intimate with one another. I've been inside of
Right.
you. You've been inside of me. Okay, that's how friendships work emotionally inside of each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Something that something that people know you like, right? You got the Flash.
Yeah.
You got Bleach.
Yeah,
You got Sailor Moon.
yeah,
Critical Role.
yeah.
Those are
Easy.
like top Nick things. Easy D&D, all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? Now, part of me was going with the gelatinous cube Funko Pop that they came out with recently, kind of go
I
in
do
the
want that one.
movie. I
I do
feel
want that
like
one.
that's something that you would want, but maybe someone would get that for you because they know you like
Yeah.
D&D.
They do. People know
A
that.
more secret thing. That's
Yeah.
where the like rom-com stuff comes in, and where it's like
Oh.
people know you like rom-coms, but not everyone knows which ones you like.
I do have a La La Land Funko Pop that is one of my favorites.
La La Land. Okay. Musical theater. Now, if we
Mhm.
dig deep, now go in there. Like the is there a Charmed Funko Pop?
Yeah, but that would just be like the three girls. They're just like girls.
Okay. This is a cool Funko Pop.
This is badass. Yeah.
A badass, but Nick's badass, which
Do you
could
want
be.
you want one clue?
I want one clue. Yeah.
Some people would even say it's past cool. It's like it's
Ice
gangster.
Cold? Oh, it's gangster. Is it a Funko Pop of why am I blanking? Of DMX? Is it a Funko Pop of a rapper?
Do I like DMX?
No. Is it a Funko Pop of a rapper?
Is there a rapper that I like more than all the other rappers?
Yeah. Is it a Funko Pop of that guy?
Tupac Shakur, baby.
Yeah, nice. I completely blanked on the name Tupac, but I was like, it's Tupac.
Shakur.
Nice.
Very cool. Yeah, I saw it and I was just like, again, it's a Funko Pop that in the past went for a lot of money for like the
Mhm.
original one. And this is a newer one where he's looking like all fly with like
Hell
his
yeah.
fucking
hell
glasses
yeah.
and shit. And I was like, I gotta get it. I gotta get it.
Nice. Maybe you
Gotta
can get it autographed by his hologram.
Yeah, that's the next option. Marcus, tell me something. You banter with me. Tell me what's going on. You want to talk about something? You want to talk about your holiday?
We've never done a podcast before.
You want to talk about you want to talk about your holiday? You want to talk about a gift you got? You want to talk about?
Let's
You
talk
want
about
to get
something-
deep? You want to talk about your last
let's
therapy
talk about
session?
something new I tried, which was literally today. Having therapy on Tuesdays is something new that I'm trying, and it's not going well.
Oh man.
But it's fine. It's fine. I get over it. You know, you really dig deep and you figure out like, why was I abused? Was it my fault? No, it wasn't. And that's
But are you
important to know.
harboring some feelings like it was?
Maybe I am. And then I have to come record a podcast.
And talk about the glass onion. It's a
And talk
metaphor.
about the glass. No, I can't do it. I can't.
It's a
do it.
metaphor.
It's good. I'm impressed. I think I've seen a lot of your D&D characters, and I think the next one needs to have this accent.
Ooh, okay,
Mhm.
Louisiana. Now, what kind of character is it?
He is a swamp druid.
That's good.
With the
I'm gonna write that- I
Louisiana
almost went to write it
accent.
down. I was how excited I was. Swamp druid.
Swamp druid with that accent.
He's just dripping at the seams with
Yeah.
mud and debris as it's coming up, and he's saying, "I think the way we got to solve this problem is just get in tune with ourselves."
And you work your way towards getting a pet gator. I think that's what you have to do.
A pet gator. You know what's funny? I do have a character that's from the swamp, but he has an African accent because his name's Mbaba, and he has a lizard familiar.
That's close
Mbaba.
enough. Just change
It's
it
pretty
to
close.
Louisiana.
African accent, Louisiana accent.
I mean, look, who's keeping track of the canon of your D&D characters, okay?
Me, very intimately, to a point, to a very nauseating point.
Sometimes people play characters that lose accents, that come back in and out. It's fine.
Wow,
if they
way to
change
call out our
accents.
friend T. Way to call out our friend T.
Whoa, okay. I just meant in general.
Marcus,
Mhm.
you saw The Glass Onion, which is a Rian Johnson film written and directed that has come to Netflix with a short theatrical window, which we can talk about if you want to. But it is a sequel, direct sequel to his earlier film, Knives Out 2019. A Whodunit mystery, and this is the sequel, star-studded cast, Netflix film, easy to watch by everyone, and it is popular. Guess
Is
what the Rotten Tomato is?
90%.
92. And guess what the audience score is?
90%.
93.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's huge.
I feel like this is not a Christmas movie, but it was a Christmas movie. I think coming out of the pandemic and a lot of people going back, people saw their families in 2021 also, but it was more fresh, and not everyone got to see
this
their
year. No
families
one
and stuff.
gave a shit.
This year, no, everyone was with their families. No one was not seeing their families. So it felt like Christmas was back. People were doing it, whatever.
I'm sorry. I said that like I'm
traditions they
judging.
do.
I don't give a shit. Do what you fucking want. Get your vaccine. Go do what you fucking want.
Yeah.
I don't.
So people were back in their families. I feel like everyone at some point had a lull in that hanging out, and every family chose to watch The Glass Onion. It was
the perfect
release window, perfect type of movie to watch with the family. It's
funny but
the
serious.
racist uncle isn't going to come in and have really any problems with the movie. Like, it just is.
He might laugh at a moment that was supposed to be ironic, but whatever, we'll let it go.
100%. He might like weirdly identify with Bautista's
when
character.
David Dukes talks about the breastification of America, he might go, "Ha, yeah," and you just go like, "All right, we're gonna ignore that one."
But there's a little bit of something for everybody. It's the perfect family movie.
Yes.
Yeah. There's no one really dies in the movie, right? Like
what?
Like
Two people
but like not a violent death. Not a violent death. They die like a PG-13 death, right?
PG.
So like it's not gonna really. Yeah.
The 13 might just be the fucking cursing.
The cursing. So so it's very family friendly. I feel like that is what also gives it its mass appeal too. I feel like it was even more timid than the first one.
The first one was a little scarier. This one had more hijinks and was like brighter colors. And that one was like more gothic-y because it was like a gothic horror trope because of the house and everything. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And this was more a new age thing. Wow, what a wonderful point. Marcus, kudos to you because I didn't even think of that. And they're totally right. Ryan, I don't know if it was Ryan. I don't know if it was Netflix, but like this movie was the perfect movie because it's not a Christmas movie. It's competition was Spirited and that Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie and all the Christmas classics and as many Christmas classics as you love. I love Christmas movies. We watched 6 or 7 and then the day came where Lexi was like, can we not watch a Christmas movie today? And guess what we watched?
Glass Onion.
The Glass Onion.
It is a perfect break from Christmas movies, Christmas movie fatigue. It's a perfect break from family. I'm tired of making up small talk. I don't want to fucking talk to you anymore. I've seen you for a week now. I'm tired. Glass Onion. It's the perfect thing to get into the holidays.
I totally agree. What a wonderful point.
Yeah, right after you open presents, boom, Glass Onion. You're done with Christmas.
I was thinking more Christmas Eve after
trash.
dinner. I was thinking, but okay.
Darren says, Marcus, my family listens to this. I didn't mean me specifically. I'm talking about the viewing audience.
No, Marcus. When you were in Georgia, you couldn't stand having any more small talk. And you told me. You told me before we came on. You said, man, everyone in Georgia, that small talk with them was way too much. I need more Glass Onions to watch. That's what you said.
I gotta say, about Georgia, I had a great time. It was the most chill. It was the most relaxed hanging out with people who weren't directly related to me. It was fantastic.
That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome.
I'm not saying this because Darren has a gun pointed to my head.
I spent Christmas with Lexi's mom, and it was actually really nice. She's
great.
often very
Nice and loving. You tell me that all
Nice-
the time. Like
nice.
that's
She's very nice and loving, and she continued to be on Christmas Day.
There you go.
So the Glass Onion, were you a fan of, I don't know your history with Rian Johnson and Knives Out. So did you like the old movie? Do you like Rian Johnson?
Ryan
Are you a Last
Johnson
Jedi
ruined
apologist?
Star Wars.
Are you one of those?
I said it.
Truly.
I spoke the truth. He destroyed Star Wars. Star Wars.
Are you
was
really one of those or
perfect.
not?
It was
This is really quite-
perfect. It was the perfect film. The new one, oh man, it was so new and inventive and different than anything that's ever done before. And Ryan Johnson came in and ruined it. He ruined it.
By showing us what a good Star
By
Wars
showing what
movie
a
could
good Star
look
Wars
like.
movie could be. I will say this. After the second movie came out, I did not
Yeah.
like it.
Sure.
But looking back on it, I like it now.
It's
I like
the only
it
one that
more
did
now.
anything.
It's the only one that did anything.
Yeah, it's the only one that did anything.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Like I have problems with it, sure. But
Sure.
but it feels like the prequel movies where it's like, yeah, you can hate the prequel movies, but there's good parts. There's good shit in it.
Yeah.
I feel like the second of the new trilogy feels like the prequel movies to me, where it's like, look, it's not perfect. It's not the
No.
best Star Wars movie, but it was a Star Wars movie it was more of a movie than the other two were. The other two were just like the first of the new trilogy was a copy, and
It
the
felt
third
like a
of the new
table of
trilogy.
contents with fucking a couple footnotes.
The third of the new trilogy was like, fucking, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what is this weird shit? So
Yeah.
I feel like the second movie at least tried to do something. So I think he's still signed on to do another Star Wars project. So I'm excited
Trilogy,
for that.
I think.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
here's my thing. It's like, think about how interesting that movie was, how it like did different things and how
Mhm.
it was like a well-made, crafted movie.
Yes.
Think about how good that movie would have been if they set him up for success.
He should have just done the whole
Don't
trilogy.
forget, he had to start working on that film before they had a finished script for the first one. He didn't know who Snoke was. He didn't know who Rey was. When he went into the office to start working on those films, the producers and JJ were just like, I don't know. We just made Force Awakens. You figure it out, fucko. And it's like, what? The fact that is the way he went in is like, who's going to win?
And then the third
any
one,
parts of the movie was cool.
The third one, they took it away from him. Like, just give him the last two movies then.
Yeah. Well, he was never supposed to. It was supposed to be the guy who did Jurassic World. And then I think he saw what was happening. He was like, get me the fuck out of here. And then JJ came back.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Anyway.
They took one of their biggest franchises and we're just like, let's just shit on it. We're bringing it back after all this time. Let's just shit all over it. But Rian Johnson, not his fault. So
I will never, some people will never forgive him. I don't even give him any blame.
I'm excited for his new Star Wars thing. The last Knives Out movie I love.
Hold on. I just had to point out, Daron in the chat said, what's a narrative art? This is Star Wars. Just play some jazz. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's good.
I like it.
I
feel like Knives Out I loved. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was like a really fun mystery movie. And we can talk about it a little bit later as to whether mystery is a genre that is even doable anymore. I don't know.
It's tough. It's different.
It's one. I think it's one of the hardest genres to make good because you are having to string along the reader in such a specific way that they can't guess what's coming next, but they also need to be able to not be caught so off guard in the end that they think the whole thing was stupid.
Which is so interesting where, again, we can go into more detail later, but both Knives Out and Glass Onion do the same trick where halfway through the film, it gives away the goods.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, in this film, we don't know who the killer is, but the reveal, spoilers for Glass Onion, of the twin and the reveal that the dude did in fact kill himself in Knives Out, you get that at the halfway point in both films.
Yeah.
Which is super interesting thing to think about because there is a mystery still going on, but Rian Johnson knows, I think he realizes that the old Sherlockian trope, the old Murder, She Wrote, where it's, you introduce in the first act 4 people, in the second act you learn about those people, and in the third act you reveal that it was actually guy number 2 that did it, doesn't work as much anymore. Because they've been doing it every week on Law and Order and everything for
Yeah.
decades.
And I mean, like mystery novels, like I said, you have to lead them on a certain way. So Rian Johnson has figured out a workaround to that, like you said, where the mystery is simple, like what happened is simple, but the
Yeah.
execution of it and the specifics of it aren't revealed at the end. They're revealed in the middle. So it doesn't feel like you're caught off guard. It feels like, okay, now's when I'm learning all of the information. The same, like you said, in the middle arc is sort of when you would get to know the characters. Now, instead, in the middle arc is when you get to know the characters through the lens of the events of the film by getting additional background information you didn't have before.
Yeah, which actually really makes the ending, I think, of both films really satisfying, because it's that thing where we've talked about it in a movie where if you foreshadow the right way, it's satisfying. If you do it the wrong way, it's like, I get it. It's a fucking rehab center. We get there at the end. I understand. Stop lingering on the sign. I understand. It's coming. You know, it's super satisfying the way you're like, oh, okay, and that's why we saw, and it all comes together, and you're super satisfied, you know.
Yeah, I feel like you're watching the pieces fall into place a little bit, and I do like that Rian Johnson sort of like recontextualizes the movie midway through, because that's the part of mysteries that people like, right? Like people like to watch, not like, but it is a part of the fun of a mystery. You at the end, once you get all the pieces together and the ending is revealed, the whodunit is revealed, you then go back and replay the movie or replay the book in your head and go, okay, I see all of the pieces now. That's the fun part. I feel like a well-crafted mystery, you go back and you see, oh, the signs were there the whole time. So that's very hard to do. And I think that this is an interesting kind of like twisty way of turning that on its head a little bit.
I think it's really interesting because we're also in a time where Kenneth Branagh has remade 2 of the classic Agatha Christie. So if you watch Murder on the Orient Express, you saw a modern day version of what Rian Johnson's recontextualizings are of. And Kenneth Branagh is a great filmmaker. He's a great, people talk about him. Those are star-studded casts. The film itself, not bad. Wasn't a bad film. I liked it, but it didn't do what this film did. It didn't change how a whodunit works to what we deal with today and how we watch movies today and how we solve things today. Well, these films really do it, and literally are like, he has created with Benoit Blanc his parallel with, oh gosh, what's the name of the detective in those films, in those books? I'm gonna Google it.
Pierre.
Yeah, Lepo, something like that.
I know. Le Perot. Perot?
Yeah, Perot.
Now no
Le Perot. Yeah, that was my whole point.
That was
Hercule
your whole point?
Poirot. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that, yes, he's created his own version of Perot, of Sherlock, this like Southern gentleman, which I really like the character. I think that not character driven, that's the wrong word, but I think like a reoccurring character that appears in your movies is something that you don't see a lot. Like you don't really get that kind of thing anymore, right? Because we get a lot of one-offs, a lot of things get canceled, so you don't get the whole thing. Or it's a
franchise where you get
a whole cast and crew. I like the one character being the thing. It does feel like Sherlock Holmes. It does feel like something like that.
Yeah, it feels like he's making a universe, right? But without like, and I'm sure he's like glad and also feels daunted by the fact that when he makes this third one, and he said in an interview, he'll keep making these until Daniel Craig says he's done. Which is, I think, just speaks to like how you can tell how much fun and how much they respect each other, and it's so cool. But he has to remake a whole other set of memorable people every single time. It's fucking wild that he has to do that. But it's also, you know, I think the Daniel Craig of it all, the Benoit Blanc of it all is such a smart way of just having one focal point, one placeholder, one stake in the ground where you can always go back to. and then you just have this whole open sandbox to really do whatever you need to do. And like I think it's kind of genius because Daniel Craig is, I think, a wonderful actor, and he's been doing James Bond for so long, and that's what people know him for. And I think he's a good James Bond. But if you look at some of the other stuff, he's like a weird actor. He's been doing stuff for a long time. He's like Shakespearean trained. He's like a real fucking actor that's been acting for a long ass time, and like you can just tell how much fun he's like having again with this part. Like, as an actor,
I just remembered I saw Daniel Craig in Macbeth on Broadway.
Oh yeah.
And like I was like this close to him, and like just like super close to him, like first, second row, whatever. Like, and I was just like, one, very beautiful person, and two, I feel like I had never seen him act in anything before. Like he was in the James Bond and he was in these movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like actually seeing him do Shakespeare as Macbeth on stage, like I was speechless. Like he fucking was incredible. And I was like, I turned to Daron and I said, this man can act. Like I feel like bad for shitting on James Bond and stuff like that, but like I was like, I did not know the depths in which this man could reach.
Yeah.
And he was so good. He was so good.
I'm so jealous you got to see him do that. Yeah, and I've seen nuggets of it. He was in like, what was it? In Cold Blood as one of the killers, I think, years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He was also in that one where Adam Driver, where they try to blow something up, where he's like, he had some fun in there. But I've seen him for years, like have some fun. But this is like, I think the best thing that I've seen him do. Because I think this Sherlockian, interesting, charismatic character, it could come off as such a caricature, right? Mm-hmm. Like he could sound like Foghorn Leghorn.
Mm-hmm.
He could sound like an idiot trying to be smart, or he can be like I've seen really boring versions of Sherlock where they just know everything and it's like not interesting.
Yeah.
But you can tell he had a lot to do with it, because I was watching an interview, or I was watching those dissecting a scene or something, and they were talking about Blanc's wardrobe, and Rian Johnson, the costume designer, and Daniel Craig together were deciding what he was wearing.
That's fun.
And he was talking about these old movies that was giving him inspiration for the part. Mm-hmm. And that's where his costumes, and like a lot of this character is in his fashion. Like you see what he's wearing and you're like, I get who this man is. I understand what's happening. And I love that so much.
Yeah. Yeah. And the fact that too, I mean, like you said earlier, that Rian Johnson's able to create a group of characters for every single movie that feels unique. They feel lived in, they feel like full characters. And that's a hard task to do. It's not like fucking Harry Potter where you get to dip into the same well over and over again. It's like a brand new cast every time and you have to start from scratch. And also like not copy yourself.
Yeah.
Which is very challenging.
So cool how you can even just see in the colors he chose, in the gothic horror of the architecture of the house and all the family of what they're wearing in the first film, compared to the swimsuits and island wear and beach vacation these people are wearing. Like you can tell he's like painting with all these different. I'm just like, what's the next one? He's gonna be in like fucking
cruise.
Alaska? No, like Alaska. Everyone's in parkas.
Nah, it's a cruise.
A cruise is too much like this.
It's a cruise.
They're just wearing beachwear.
A jungle.
Jungle's better.
Safari?
Safari's good. A film set. Daron got it. Daron fucking got it.
Wow.
Damn it, Daron. That is it. It will be on a film. It will be a meta. She's so right, isn't she? It will be a commentary on the film industry. They will be on a film set.
Yeah.
Damn it.
They'll be making. They're
going to be trying to make a movie about Benoit Blanc or some shit.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yes, they're making a Benoit Blanc movie, and he's a consultant hired on set, and then a murder happens. Yeah, that's it.
Nailed it.
That's it.
100%. Wow, damn it. No
Rian
jungle.
Johnson, if you're not already writing that one, call us. Look, haven't
or
we
the fourth or fifth one?
No.
The fourth, fifth, or sixth one? Whatever.
Yeah, you need a sub? We got it.
No, he really doesn't.
Even though that was entirely Daron's idea. Also, you have to hire Daron.
Yeah. She comes along. She's our producer. She comes. She's involved. She's 1/3 her. I think Daron fucking distracted me. God damn it, they're the worst producer ever. Fuck.
Look, you're tearing the podcast apart.
It was something about Danny. I know what I was saying. So I will say, and I don't think this is a criticism to the film because I obviously enjoyed it very much, but it is something I noticed where I hope it's something that's rectified with more films. The first film had the really easy contrivance of being a family. And because it was a family, I think he had less work he needed to outright do for character because we understand father, son, we understand sisters, we understand what was going on. Whereas this film, I felt as if the characters were they were so close to a caricature, which I didn't mind. They felt lived in, they felt real. All the actors did so good, but there was a little bit of character missing for me. Like, I wish I spent a little more time understanding what made whiskey tick. I wish I spent a little more time understanding where Duke was coming from.
Yeah.
I wish we had a little more time to understand why Leslie Odom Jr. and Catherine Hahn's character, like, I don't fucking remember their name. Like what their investment was. Like, I understood it. I got it through the context, but because there was so much lavishness happening, I felt like there was a little bit of these characters. If I had to, gun to my head, compare Knives Out characters to Glass Onion characters, I preferred Knives Out characters because they felt more lived in. And I think it was just because it was a family. I don't think he did anything like different. I don't think he did a worse job or anything.
Yeah.
But I hope he sees that because he lacked that foundation in this one compared to the first one, that he doesn't lean further into caricature and he rolls back a little bit, and I get a little more character in it, because an ensemble cast is one of the hardest things you have to do, right?
I think,
and I just wanted a little more.
In the first one, they did dive into the background of each character a lot more, because you got like, oh, what were their intentions? What did they want out of the guy who died? What, so like you were really like digging into each character. And in this one, we didn't see any of that. A whole fucking part of the movie that was just about one character.
And context clues, right?
And then
we understood the senator, what she wanted, but I didn't see a conversation between her and Miles and bending the knee. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
You saw that in the first one. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. So I think that's all it is. So I wouldn't mind if they spent less time kind of like re-explaining how they got here. Because most of the movie, I think, maybe I could be wrong percentage wise, but it did feel like a lot of the movie was, okay, now we're going to go back and show Janelle Monáe's character and like everything that we did to set up everything and like recontextualize where we are now. It felt like a long time.
It was a long time. It could have been a little less. I also think that it's hard because it's what made the movie so cool, but we did spend a lot of time just here we are on an island. Look how cool it is. Right?
That is
like,
true.
look at these cool things. Look how crazy these rich people live. Look at there's a robot picking up the luggage, look at this glass. He has this car everywhere. Oh my God. Like, some of it was very important, like context, and Rian Johnson's so good at that. And none of it felt contrived. But because we spent so much time there, because we spent so much time with Janelle Monáe, following her through a line to re-explain everything we just saw, I think we did lose a little bit of character.
But I think that all of that stuff you just described also, I guess I'll play devil's advocate and say that all that stuff you described does lend itself to the characters of these people.
A little,
and kind of show
somewhat.
You, especially the billionaire too, especially Edward Norton's character.
The billionaire, I don't think I needed any more. I completely understood him.
Yeah.
The scientist and the senator and whiskey and the assistant. I felt like I understood Birdie and I understood Duke.
Yeah.
I understood like Birdie and Duke. Birdie and Duke were good. I got them. They were good.
The assistant I kind of would have liked a little bit more.
Yeah. But we got a little bit. Like, it was there. Like, the fact that we got any in an ensemble film this big, this complicated, with this many shots, and this is fucking impressive. It's so impressive, right? Like, we're being real nitpicky about like what we want. That I just hope I see in the next one.
I feel like I also really like I completely lost what I was going to say. I feel like I liked all of the characters and I liked what was their vibes and what was going on. But I also like understood immediately like I guess that Edward Norton committed the murder, like
Yeah.
immediately. And then I was just like, okay, but it's interesting. It was still really interesting to watch and stuff like that. And it wasn't really about the mystery this time, too,
Yeah.
which I feel like
Neither was the last one because you found out halfway through.
that's true.
You thought there wasn't a mystery for most of that film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was a mystery, and then they got away with it. No, but then there was still a mystery because in the end, it was like, then towards the end, I guess not at the end, but towards the end,
you
didn't
thought
you find out
you
that,
thought somebody was blackmailing her, and then you thought it was just the assistant lady,
Mhm,
the housekeeper,
mhm.
and then in the last like 10 minutes, you were like, oh wait, no, something more is going on, and then he explained it all. And
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That last part, there was still a big reveal at the end.
There was, but we didn't know it was even going to be. That's why that was like a really
I
cool
guess
trick
that's why
what
it
they
worked.
did.
Yeah.
Because
we didn't even know there was going to be a reveal.
Fun fact: in an interview, he said that like bottle viscousness
Mhm.
thing that wasn't in the original script, in the original draft of the film. It was just going to be, they switched the bottles or whatever. But then he was talking to a nurse or something,
Mhm.
and they were describing how good they were at their job, or somebody was describing, and like someone else gave him that idea. Like he got it from somewhere else, like, right. And that's like really, really makes the film at the end for me, because at the end of Knives Out, the beauty of is she didn't kill him because she's just a good nurse.
Yeah.
Like she's just good at her job.
Yeah.
And I love that.
I think back to my other point about these movies being very family friendly, even in that one, it was like, and she couldn't possibly have murdered him, even by accident. Because it was like, and they really redeemed her entirely by the end of it.
Yeah. And it wasn't contrived. It really easily could have been. It really easily could have been,
Even in this one, at the end of the film, when everything happens and Janelle Monáe is like, I love that scene when she's breaking all the glass, and it's very cathartic for everybody. When it explodes, I was like, oh shit, she like killed everybody in there. And
I
was
really
like,
thought they did
"Fuck
too.
this."
She said Hindenburg. That means dead.
And I was like,
And then no one was dead.
Everyone's walking outside fine. Like,
it was still good, but
it's
I
still
agree
good,
with you.
but that same thing of like, okay, now we're gonna tighten this up a little bit and make it that extra little bit of
It was
family
Scooby-Doo, but
friendly.
that's okay. Yeah.
Scooby-Doo.
It's just that satisfying thing. I also loved one of my favorite things that the fact that happened. One of my just to transition to favorite moments in the film, we can transition to that, is when Benoit does the thing that will be in every single film, because it's always in a whodunit, where for 10 minutes the genius detective explains the mystery, right?
Yep.
And honestly, Daniel Craig is so fucking good at it. He's so good. And he's like, and as I was wrapping my head around what this, I realized you're an idiot. And it all came together. I was like, so cool. And then the fucking billionaire was like, you got no proof.
Yeah.
And he had to have that heartbreaking conversation with Janelle Monáe. He's like, my job stops here. I did the mystery, and that's all I could do. And it was really heartfelt. Like it was such a good moment of like, the reason I love that moment is because Benoit Blanc very easily, because Sherlock is in Sherlock Holmes, Benoit Blanc could be a superhero. He could be the genius guy that's good at everything, that always has, but he's not.
He could be Jack Reacher.
He even says in the film, he could be Jack Reacher. He's bad at dumb things. He can't do that clue thing. He needs Janelle Monáe to help him do that.
Yeah.
Both of the movies, he needed help to figure out. He needed a Watson. He needed somebody to help him do it. And then at the end, he was like, he didn't have the answer. He was like, maybe you could do something with this, but he was like, that's all I can do. I solved the mystery. I'm not Superman.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that. It's so
I did really
humanizing.
appreciate that too. It was good.
Yeah.
I feel like when you think about the structure of like these kinds of things, I feel like the third film also is kind of more where they would put, especially if they're gonna have more than 3 films, is kind of where they would put the loss and the stakes. So I wouldn't be surprised if the next one is a little bit more heavy.
Yeah, on the film set, when somebody dies, I'm sure it's going to be his husband, Hugh Grant.
Was that his husband? Like, I was confused by all of that because Hugh Grant was in such a small role. And same thing with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He was the voice of the clock. Why?
What clock?
You have to pay them.
The dumb?
The dong, the hour dong.
Oh, I think that's just funny.
I mean, it is funny.
Hugh Grant confirmed it. It's funny because I this is where I saw it. Hugh Grant confirmed it in an interview during his D&D movie.
Oh, okay.
But he said, "It's the tiniest little moment. I don't really know why they wanted me to do it, but anyway, I thought Knives Out was brilliant, so yeah, I thought, why not turn up for a few hours?" Meanwhile, director Ryan previously revealed that Daniel's suave sleuth was gay, and that in the sequel films he would be living with another man.
Oh,
So I don't know if they're
okay.
married, but they're definitely together.
Yeah. Also,
Which I love.
Ethan Hawke was in the movie.
I know,
Super short.
randomly.
So random.
So funny. But Hugh Grant's cameo, I fucking loved it. I really hope like he's more in it. I think he's.
I hope so too. That would be
the
nice.
two of them as foils against each other seems really fun
him
and
coming
really funny.
home, discussing his mystery that he couldn't quite solve. Like,
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And he'll die in the third one on the film set when they're doing the Benoit Blanc movie, and
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. Forget it. I was going to say, it was nice seeing like that he was a celebrity in his own right in the beginning of the film when he was
Yeah.
hanging out with Natasha Lyonne and like all the
Stephen
stuff.
Sondheim
Stephen Sondheim, rest in peace.
and fucking Murder, She Wrote
yeah.
lady.
Yeah.
And fucking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Like,
Wait,
fucking-
really?
Yeah, he was the fourth one.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I love that.
They were playing Among Us. Yeah. He would be, right? If we really had someone that was that famous doing these huge capers and fucking, they would be famous. They would be pseudo, like have these connections, right?
Yeah,
I
that's
love
true.
that.
That's true. If we had a big Sherlock Holmes kind of person in real life, they would definitely be a celebrity.
100%. At least as much as it seems like he is here.
Yeah.
And oh my God, talking about cameos, because we were talking about Serena Williams. I was laughing very hard. That was so stupid.
What was she doing in there?
She was on the fucking TV workout thing.
Yes. That was funny.
Just waiting on her
That was
hour that she got paid
funny.
to be there to train.
Yeah.
And she's like, is anyone training? I just imagine her once a week there, get $1 million for an hour. And it's like, you have so much money.
Yo-Yo Ma was in the movie.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
That was great. I feel like
I was glad to see
I
that.
had a moment. This is gonna sound so fucking pretentious, I guess. But the Yo-Yo Ma did a show in our college, and I worked that show, so I was hanging out with him backstage for a little bit. So when I saw him, I had never seen his face before that day, before like hanging out with him in person. So when I saw him in the movie, I was like, I know him. Like, why do I know him? And it was from that, not from knowing that he's a famous person.
You got to talk to him?
Yeah, he was chill. He was very nice.
He seems really nice.
Some kid's bow or string broke during the performance, and he was having a panic attack. And Yo-Yo Ma was just like, dude, like, it's okay, it's chill. Like, fix it. Like, go back out there. It's okay.
Aw, that's
But it
so
was
cute.
nice.
Were people at our school playing with him or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot I forgot how they decided, but some of the people got to play with him on stage. Which was good.
So cool. Yeah, I think this movie did just as many cameos as they could without being too much. Any more would have been too much. Like it was, it was close. It was close.
It was pretty close,
but it was good. It was
good.
good.
I feel like cameos for this, like some of the cameos are funny. Serena Williams' workout thing was funny. I think the Among Us bit was funny, especially with COVID and everything.
And Yo-Yo Ma, and those were really the three, like, real life ones.
Yeah.
Everyone else was a character.
And then, but all the characters were kind of, I think the character was one bothered me a little bit more. Like, why is, just makes me think about it. It takes me out of the movie. Like, I'm thinking about why Ethan Hawke is there. I'm thinking about why I'm hearing Joseph Gordon-Levitt's voice. I'm thinking about the shit.
Oh, does anyone in this world thinks like, wow, you know, that billionaire Miles, owner of Alpha, he looks a lot like Edward Norton.
I just feel like not that, but like the little parts that where it's like, okay, why was Hugh Grant in this movie? I don't understand. You know, like that. It takes me out of it a little bit.
Setting something up. The
That
Ethan
I
Hawke
get.
one was weird.
But the Ethan Hawke, why is he in there?
He must be friends with somebody. He must have been in a past film. Ryan was like, "Yo, Ethan, you want to come do 3 lines?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." You know, I mean, I do love that Rian Johnson's notoriety with Knives Out and this one have become to the point where now he can work with anybody he wants, and everyone wants to work with him. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
like who's going to be in the next one? That's great. And just to talk about how great of a job everyone did, I really thought the cast crushed it. Some of my favorites were Dave Bautista, Kate Hudson, and Duke's mom. I think those were my top people. Oh, and Janelle Monáe.
Janelle Monáe is great. She fucking killed it in that movie.
And well, it's almost like she's separate from like the cast of people, right? Because she's like almost doing her own thing. But she, I saw her in Moonlight. I've seen her in something else. But she is so good. And I'm not used to seeing her that much because she just, she does so much. She's a fucking Renaissance woman. She does it all. But she
Renaissance
like,
woman,
isn't that what you call it?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck you call it. But she did great. What about you?
Yeah.
Any standouts?
I mean, honestly, like Janelle Monáe fucking killed it. I don't know if I've seen her or anything before this, and I was very surprised with how good their acting was.
You have.
Oh, Janelle Monáe uses they them pronouns. Like, thank you very much.
Thanks, Daron.
Chat, I appreciate that.
They were in Hidden Figures. Did you see Hidden Figures?
No,
about the people, the black women who helped them get to space.
Nope.
I
is
love
it the
that
math
film.
movie?
Yeah,
I watched the
Octavia Spencer is in it.
I didn't realize they were in it.
Taraji
That's
Henson.
interesting.
Yeah, she's one of the three women. They're one of the three women.
I like that. I think Janelle Monáe was great. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved her their performance. And Dave Bautista also, I feel like, shocked me. I feel like outside of
him.
acting, I mean, he's a great actor. I think he's very good at what he's doing. Outside of acting, though, like I feel like he is winning me over every interview I see him in, everything that he's doing. It's like, okay, he's like a good dude also, which you don't always get.
I feel the exact same way, and I was gushing about him to Lexi because I know that literally anything can come out and we could be done with them, and I get it, and the day might come, and especially these wrestling people, you never know. That world is crazy, but I will say I was watching an interview, and he was talking about his tattoos. He was going over some tattoos.
I saw
and
that
he was
one.
going over one of them that got covered up, and he was explaining how the old one was with a partner of his, but then the partner came out with some homophobic slurs. And Dave Bautista very sincerely was just like, and that's not what I'm about. I'm an ally, and he said my mom's lesbian, and that really hurt me, and I had to cut ties with them, and I'm like, fucking Bautista.
I love Bautista. He's a good dude.
Just like a good dude.
I will see this: the wrestling world. Not to go on a wrestling tangent,
you can.
But I think the wrestling world is full of they're full of a lot of people, so you get all kinds. True. But there are some good dudes in there that I am also surprised by all the time. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin, I'm always like, man, he just seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
It's fun. But also you get a lot of like racism and homophobes and
the
family murders.
For any industry that's been around as long as it has, there's just holdouts that are just terrible, terrible people. But honestly, most wrestlers seem like pretty good people. Like I don't know if that's a generalization, and maybe I can be proven wrong, but
I think
for the most part,
when you are a kid and you're watching wrestling, you're like, oh my god, it's so intense. This is like the peak of manliness. And then you become an adult and you realize that it's just a bunch of theater kids who are more fit than the other theater kids. Like that's all it is. Yeah,
it really
that's all
is.
They are. They're actors. They're performers.
I'm just saying. I'm sure there's way more assholes at Ren Fair than they are at WrestleMania.
Okay, I wouldn't go that far.
I would. Have you met? I don't need to get into it. I don't need to get into it.
But yeah, no. Like I watched an interview with. This is not showing his character, but sometimes TikTok will show me like Stone Cold Steve Austin has a podcast where he talks with wrestlers and hearing them talk about how much they got fucked over, but they were still doing it because they were so passionate, because they like enjoyed performing for other people. It's like, wow, if more of them had the opportunity to go into acting, I think that would be a good avenue for them. And I think I would like to see more wrestlers break that barrier and get into like acting.
Just giving a shot, right?
At least giving a shot. I mean, you got Batista, The Rock, and John Cena now. Peacemaker was fucking fantastic. And that was just John Cena. I mean, he had a great cast with him, but John Cena sold the shit out of that character.
Yeah. 100%. I think as I was watching this again, I was realizing this might be the first time I've ever seen Batista in a role that didn't need his muscles. Like they were prominently on display because they're fucking there,
and they were part of his character. Yeah,
right. But no, because his parallel is Andrew Tate, who is not that a huge jacked dude. A lot of these guys on like men's right activist stuff, sure, some of them look like David B, but he's not the archetype. Like he didn't get this job because of his muscles. You know what I mean?
No,
like
I get what you're saying, but it is a part of his character. Like he could have also been a schlub, I guess, technically, but
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right. Like that. I think he didn't get called in for this part just because he's a scary, like Drax. I appreciate he got that role and he crushed it and made it his own, and now he's famous for it. But he got called into that role because he's a big dude. He's a physically fit dude. I think he got called because of what he could like do. And even if not, I think that's what he proved in the performance because he was fun. He was exciting. He was good. Like out of everyone, I knew everyone else was going to do awesome. They're all like world renowned Academy Award nominees and winner actors, right?
Yeah.
The fucking Shakespearean trained people on this fucking film, right? Dave Bautista's not any of that. And yet I did not see him miss a beat with everyone else in the crew, in the cast, in the mainstay. And I need to give him kudos for that, because now I'm just, are we just and he's even said like this next Drax film is going to be his last Drax thing and he wants to focus on acting. And I'm just like, that's so cool.
Respect. Yeah.
I'm just really excited what that's going to mean, you know? Like,
I think so.
Next?
He's going to be in M. Night Shyamalan's new movie too, which will be fun.
It looks cool. Mm-hmm. It also looks like a film that is not for his muscles.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But very exciting.
I like your delineation between muscle films and non-muscle films.
Yeah. Well, there's MCU. Even that Dune part he has.
Non-muscle Arnold Schwarzenegger film?
Twins.
Twins is a muscle Arnold Schwarzenegger film. I'm sorry.
No, it's funny because he's big and Danny DeVito's small.
Big muscles. He's big. He's fit. He's handsome.
Okay.
And Danny DeVito is a trash man.
Fine. What's the name of the movie where he gets pregnant? He does not need those muscles for that.
How do you think he pushes out that baby?
I also want you to know, when I was about to look at his movies, I put in Andrew Schwarzenegger. Way less known.
Cousin. Speaking of muscles or no muscle movies.
Oh, your fucking favorite Christmas film, Jingle All the Way.
He's a dad. He literally becomes Turbo Man, and he could not become Turbo Man in a believable way if he wouldn't have the muscles.
No, I don't think so, man.
He punches a reindeer in the face. You need muscles.
I can punch a reindeer in the face.
No, not the way he did it. He fights like 20 Santas at the same time.
I'm not. Yes,
muscles. Muscles.
If he wasn't a muscle man, he could still do that part
poorly. And
it'd be a little different, as opposed to Terminator, where he needs to be that guy. That's what I'm saying.
Terminator, I would argue, is not a muscle movie.
What?
I would argue Terminator is not a muscle movie.
What are you talking about? Terminator's a muscle movie. He's a big, scary, muscly robot.
No, he is a robot. It doesn't matter what his skin looks like. He's still a robot and strong underneath. The robot's what makes him strong, not the muscles.
To be fair, T2, the liquid robot that's literally one of the scariest villains in all of movies of all time, isn't a jack dude.
He just runs real fast. Tell you, not a Terminator 2, not a muscle movie. But you also, in trying to find a muscle movie, you found a non-muscle movie. So I give you props.
Whatever. Kindergarten Cop?
Muscle movie.
No.
Muscle movie.
He's a cop. Cops,
it's funny
not all cops have muscles.
The joke is that he's big. And it's funny that he's so big and these kids are so small.
They use it as but it's not okay. What's
joke.
The movie where he's like saving a girl in a zombie apocalypse? What is that? Megan? No, Maggie.
That's old man movie. That's different than Muscle No Muscle.
Oh,
there's
God.
Muscle No Muscle, old man. Okay, sometimes you have old man muscle. Sometimes you have old man no muscle. This is a very scientific process that I have for analyzing these movies.
Okay, as opposed to, though, Dave Bautista was in, Blade Runner, and he was in a Riddick movie, and he was in Guardians of the Galaxy, and
yeah, no, you're right. Guardians of the Galaxy is a muscle movie.
Muscle dude. Anyway, whatever.
Speaking of muscle movies, RRR won Golden Globe for Best Original Song in a Motion Picture.
Really?
Mm-hmm. For Not To.
The Golden Globes are happening?
Yeah, happening tonight while we're on.
Oh my God! Any other interesting facts? Just sprinkle them in as you're going.
Everything Everywhere All at Once won Best Supporting Actor.
Oh, for what's his face?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, what's his name?
Mr. Kwan.
Kwan, right? Oh, that's so good. Wow. Colin Farrell won. Angela Bassett won. For
her future portrayal of Mrs. Claus in Violent Night.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, my shouting about muscles happened over Steven Spielberg winning Best Director. Steven Spielberg has won, but he's won enough Best Director. I think at a certain point there should be a cap on awards you can win.
I don't disagree. Hot take, I agree with you.
Thank you. Because we need to stop rewarding geniuses at a certain point for making the same kind of movie. Like, no offense to Steven Spielberg, but he's making the same kind of movies over and
I will
over
say
again.
Colin Farrell won for the Banshees of Inisherin. Daniel Craig was nominated for Glass Onion. He should have won.
No, have you seen Banshees?
Bringing it back. No, is it good?
It was great. It was fucking.
Is it a comedy or musical?
No,
That was the category.
it was a
Golden
comedy,
Globe separates
I guess. It was a
I
black
guess it was
comedy. It was
comedy.
a dark comedy.
No.
It won best
All
screenplay.
right, I'll go watch Banshees. But until I watch it, I think Daniel Craig was robbed.
Fair. But I'm glad RRR won. That's all I really cared about.
Yeah, that's very
And
exciting.
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Do you have any other favorite scenes you want to mention in Glass Onion? I have one while you're thinking. I thought when Edward Norton set up this murder mystery, I thought it would be the crux of the whole film, like I'm supposed to think. And then that moment when Benoit was like, has it started? Has the game started? And he's like, yeah, sure, it started. And he tears apart his whole murder mystery in 2 minutes. I was on the floor laughing. I thought it was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
I loved the look on Edward Norton's face when it happened. And I was aghast. I loved it.
I like that. I think that the fun part of these mystery movies is him subverting expectations.
Yeah.
And then kind of playing with that a little bit. Like there are multiple points in the movie where you're like, okay, I know there's still a half hour left, or I know there's still an hour left. Like, what is the movie going to be about? I like that.
Agreed. Do you have any other favorite moments you'd like to shout out before we?
I think I like the Janelle Monáe's just performance as the two different
Oh yeah,
sisters.
we didn't
Like,
talk about that.
I think that was really well done.
A twin reveal could have came out as campy
Yes.
and ridiculous and an old trope, but somehow it felt fresh just because it was so well
Yeah.
done. Like he didn't do anything different. It was a twin thing,
Yeah.
but it's just good. It was just so
Yeah.
well done, and she sold it for me. I thought the two looks really made sense. She played it really well, And I bought Janelle Monáe as the country teacher that just was concerned about her sister and the prim and proper girl that
Yeah,
went to
yeah,
high
yeah,
class.
yeah,
Like I
yeah.
bought both
Yeah.
so hard, and her playing both was really good. And the moment that she died as the sister, but then you found out she didn't die,
Mm-hmm.
and Daniel Craig was crying, it got me. And that shot was beautiful. When she was dead and Daniel Craig was crying, and one by one all the suspects showed up, it was like I literally turned to Lexi in the moment, was like, this is a perfectly shot scene.
Yeah.
This is like a perfect, this is how you make a movie. This
Yeah.
moment. And then for me to not be upset that they took away that moment of catharsis for me in that moment later to find out that he just put hot sauce on his eyes,
Mhm.
it was brilliant.
Yeah. I think
It's
that
brilliant.
like the cinematography and the directing of these movies are great. I mean, like the fact that Rian Johnson can do a Star Wars movie, can do this kind of movie, and they all feel different, but that he's putting a unique spin on these things is a sign of a great director, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I even remember saying that he didn't expect himself to be like a screenwriter per
Mhm.
se. He used to just like make films with his friends
Yeah.
and like to end up in this. But I don't know if you watched his dissection of a scene where he talks about the scene where they all come to the boat for the first time, and the way he's talking about where people in are on the frames, and he like down to the motorcycle kickstand hitting the ground was all intentional for a reason, and he talks about it in that moment, and he does that for the entire film. Every shot is not wasted, everything is thought about, and it is so well crafted.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that he is unexpected. I think that there's going to be more great movies from him.
Yeah, I think so.
Even like the Star Wars movie, that middle one was fucking gorgeous. Like,
It
say
was
what you
the
want
prettiest
about
one.
it plot wise, but like, it was gorgeous.
It was the
Their
prettiest one. It was
lightsabers
really pretty.
fight in front of Snoke, where they were just like the clashing of the sabers, the room, like everything about it was like well planned out.
I did watch
Looks good.
fight choreographers break down why the fight choreography was kind of bad, and it kind of was. But filmed wise, it was beautiful.
No,
and
I
in the moment
disagree.
of watching it, I was like aghast again. I was like,
I feel
this
like the
is
fight
cool. This is Star
choreography of that
Wars.
scene was good. I disagree.
If you watch with a commentator in your ear, they describe where for most of that fight, the guys in red are just to the sides going like this.
Mm.
and then one by one they go, and it's like
Yeah.
very like, oh, once you like
They're waiting
point it
their
out in a certain
turn.
way, you're kind of like, oh yeah, but it's filmed so beautiful you don't fucking notice,
Which is
your point.
important.
The way he pulls the lightsaber and it goes through the guy's head and like
come
things like that.
on.
You know those are Rian Johnson things.
Yeah.
You know he put that in there because
Yeah.
he's really good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
I
miss
don't know
Star
why
Wars.
everyone though didn't care about Finn in that second and third movie. He was the only good part of the first film for me.
I think because Finn got shafted. I think John Boyega also talks about it a little bit, where like you thought more was coming for Finn, and people were excited about it, and then it just kind of dropped the ball in both the second and third film.
He was all of it for me in that first one.
Yeah.
And then he was just not in the second two.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
Ugh, such a shame. What a trilogy. I don't think I'm a Star Wars fan anymore. I think I'm ruined. I think I don't care anymore. I haven't watched Obi-Wan. I haven't watched second season of Mandalorian. I haven't watched anything. I don't think I care.
I will always be a fan of the Star Wars world. The movies are, I don't care about super, like even the original trilogy, I don't super care about. I just like the world. I think the world is fun. I think it's interesting, and I like to see people create new stories in them. I like the Star Wars books more than I like the Star Wars movies sometimes. Like,
it's just a shame.
It's just interesting. I think it's a fun world to play around in. Star Wars RPG we played for a while. That was good.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
But in terms of like the specifics, it's hit or miss.
I just don't know how, yeah.
I'm excited for like Ahsoka could be good. Mandalorian season 2 was really good. Season 1 was trash.
I love Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan, and I just didn't watch it.
Yeah, but who cares?
I think I might be done as well. All I'm saying.
Done.
Until a Taika Waititi or Rian Johnson Star Wars movie come out, I might be done. Well, but I want to watch those for the directors.
I'm not watching I didn't watch Obi-Wan. I'm not watching Andor. I'm not watching, I
hear Andor is good too.
But you can come and go as you plan. That's the benefit of having all of this content. Like, sure, it's a lot of content, whatever. But you don't have to watch every fucking Star Wars show. It's not the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, if you don't watch Andor, you're not going to miss out on Obi-Wan. If you don't watch, like, whatever, it's fine.
But what if I am Marcus?
Yes, they're going to retcon
I'm starting
everything.
to feel that way. Maybe I'm just getting old. I'm starting to feel that way about Marvel too. I did not watch Werewolf by Night, and I don't think I don't feel. After She-Hulk, I was like, maybe I don't have to watch all
Werewolf by Night was one of my favorite Marvel things, period.
I'm sure it was good, but after watching Miss Marvel and then watching She-Hulk, I was just like, maybe I don't have to watch all these.
I liked She-Hulk. I thought it was good.
I thought She-Hulk was good.
Yeah. I mean,
it felt not important. Miss Marvel, I liked Miss Marvel. The show was bad.
I feel like
I really wanted it to be good.
Marvel was exciting because it was new and we were getting to see our favorite characters on screen. But as comic book fans, I mean, I guess I can only speak for myself. As a comic book fan, I found myself in comic books getting to evolve as a reader. I read the baby comic books. I read Spider-Man saving the day, whatever. And then I get to grow and I'm like, oh, okay, I could find these more mature storylines to follow, to read, to care about. But in Marvel, the Cinematic Universe, we're only getting those sort of like baby animated
movies
series
for 15-year-old boys.
Movies for 15-year-old kids. Yeah. That it's like, it's cool and they're fun. But now that we've the excitement of like just getting to see your favorite characters on screen is kind of dying. I think they really need to focus on more mature and interesting and involved storylines.
That's such a good take. And it's also like, even if they continue to make movies for 15-year-olds, we'll still watch some. It'll still be cool, but it's not gonna. That is such wow, Marcus. Sometimes you say things, and I don't think you realize like how smart and critical and like right spot on you are. Like that is exactly the feeling that isn't there, and that is exactly why. Even I just saw the trailer for the new Ant-Man movie, and I thought it looked cool. I'm gonna watch it. I'm excited, but it's not the same.
No,
and
as a reader, like how many people stay reading Spider-Man forever, right? Like you read Spider-Man.
I don't read it anymore. I used to read it every week.
And then you move on to something else that you like a little bit more. You branch out, but there's no branching out options really yet.
Yeah.
I think they need to start creating side. I like that they're creating side content that doesn't have to do with the main stuff. Like I'm kind of excited for Midnight Suns because maybe Midnight Suns could be that like more adult, more like heavy stuff that isn't tied into the main Marvel universe at all. Like they're not fighting Kang the Conqueror. They're not fighting all these big bad guys.
I think that's only going to be good is if they nail the Blade movie, which we already know they had to throw out the script and they're starting from scratch. So
yeah, well,
hopefully they figure that.
I disagree. I feel like Blade is not the Midnight Sun. Like it is fine if Blade sucks and then we get a good Ghost Rider or we get a good.
Yeah, but he's the big boy.
I mean, not really.
Not in terms of in the comics, in terms of the money that the Blade movie is going to get and how much they have to play Mahershala Ali.
Inhumans bombed. They were banking on that, and then they had to end up buying all the mutants because they were like, "Fuck, Inhumans were supposed to be our new mutants." And that bombed.
But that was different. That was a different studio.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Super complicatedly, it was different.
Pivot. They can always pivot if they need to pivot. Marvel will throw things in the trash if they need to throw things in the trash.
Yeah, I guess so. The Captain Marvel isn't Captain Marvel 2 anymore. It's the Marvels, and it has to do with Monica Rambeau and Miss Marvel just as much as Captain Marvel now because they know nobody wanted a Captain Marvel.
Pivot, throw it in the trash.
Right. Yeah. Which I feel really bad for Brie Larson. I think she got a bad rep. I like her. I didn't like that movie, but I like her, and she just wasn't in it. The right movie. That's all.
Yeah.
It's a shame. All right, Marcus, is there anything you'd like to talk about Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery?
Nope. I liked that the billionaire was a villain because fuck billionaires. They shouldn't exist.
You know what you get as a prize?
What?
You get to wrap up Glass Onion and get us out of here.
Hey! Woo, 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 woo. Guys, Nick, did you like the movie?
I did like the movie. Did you?
I did like the movie. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I want to see more.
Marcus, would you recommend this film?
I would recommend the shit out of this film. I don't think there's anybody, unless you like are on your knees just giving out blowies to billionaires. I feel like you'll like the film. I've seen some reviews of people being like, well, how dare they say this is about Elon Musk? It's like, no one said this movie is about Elon Musk. Shut the fuck up. But kind of is about Elon Musk. But you know what I mean? Unless you're out there really being a simp for billionaires, I think you'll like this movie. What about you? Would you recommend it?
I completely agree. I think this movie's for everyone. Anyone that can't see this film is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think it's for everyone. I think that's the beauty of it. How smart it is. It's not dumb.
Mm-hmm.
It's very intelligent, and it holds your hand just enough where you don't feel lost if you can't keep up, but also feels like interesting and twists you wouldn't expect if you are smart.
At no point are you going to get overwhelmed with this film.
Agreed. In the best way. Will you watch the next Knives Out
watch the next one?
Mystery?
I asked first. Will you watch the next one, Nick?
You forgot the third question. Yes. I am so excited to devour this film series. I am excited to own the box set on Blu-ray. I kind of want some merch now. I don't know what it would be.
Yeah, a Glass Onion.
Probably in the third one, they'll do something like a Benoit Blanc. Since it'll be on a film set, we can get a Benoit Blanc action figure or something. I totally want that on my shelf. Yeah. So excited. You?
Yeah, for sure. I think anything Rian Johnson makes next, as long as it's like fun, I'll watch it.
Yeah, totally. Great. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning into Glass Onion. Marcus, next week is your challenge. Woo! What will we be partaking in here on the podcast next week?
Earlier, I was having a discussion with myself about whether or not if we give something that we haven't watched, if that's okay. I haven't watched Megan, but I am very excited about it because it's giving me Malignant vibes, and I loved Malignant.
This seems like it knows what it's doing more than Malignant did.
I think Malignant knew what it was doing.
We will forever disagree
about that. So
we will forever disagree.
I will say Megan is your next challenge.
This is his first big film, the director.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right. Making me go to the theaters. Yeah. I will expense this on my taxes. Going to see this film. Okay. Megan.
Nice.
It's out?
It is out. You can go watch it.
It's not showing everywhere? Oh, it is showing.
It should be showing most places.
It's 10:30 at night. That's why it's not showing me times. I was like, why aren't more places showing up? But yes, Megan.
Nice.
Okay. We are watching Megan. We're doing that next week in the podcast, where we will be presenting it to you live on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/NowTryThisCast. Come and join us. Join the conversation. We would love to see you. You can also join our Patreon to join a community at patreon.com/NowTryThisCast. For just $1, you get to vote on the challenges for just a little more, you get to make the submissions to what
Yeah.
we might be trying. I'm so excited to see what you guys are going to give this month. Anytime you can give us those suggestions there. You can also leave us 5-star reviews on iTunes. It's really helpful. But all in all, get us where you can get us. Now try this cast. We would love to see you, and see you guys next week.
Yep. And also, just another note about Megan before we go into the next episode.
Oh, what?
It's January horror movie. January is where all studios dump their bad horror movies that they think are going to tank. So just go into that knowing that information.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's a
Oh.
thing. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you next week. We hope you go watch Megan. We hope you watch Knives Out, Glass Onion. And we love you. And remember to go out there and try some things. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Friends get together so they can try things. Yell about it, it's podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
You say that, but Megan has a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
No. I know. Don't look up stuff. Stop.
I was looking at. I have to look at times.
Oh my God.
God.
It is famously where movies go to die. Horror movies. Horror movies specifically.